My official review of the Sonic movie. The first one. So, I'm gonna say this right now. I love this movie. It is literally the it's literally the project, the thing that saved the Sonic franchise. The thing that everyone thought was gonna, well, not everyone, but a lot of people thought was gonna kill the Sonic franchise. Instead, it saved the Sonic franchise from dying. A movie that we all thought was gonna suck ended up being good. So, I'm here to give my official review of the Sonic movie. So, yeah, it goes ahead and it's basically, I'm not gonna tell you the story because you guys already know about it. But yeah, I'm just gonna say this. It just goes ahead and gives us a road trip comedy, which is not bad. It's actually better than the some of the other road trip comedies like Alvin and the Chipmunks, uh, Garfield, Smurfs, Hop, all those other live action CGI hybrids. And the reason why a lot of people thought that the Sonic movie was gonna suck, was because it was a live action CGI hybrid with film. But when we saw the movie and we done and we were surprised to the fact that it's actually one of the better CGI hybrid movies. It's one of the better video game movies. It's the best thing. Well, not. I don't know if it's the best thing. I don't know. I'll just say it's one of the best things to ever come out of the Sonic franchise. This movie, it was not spectacular. It's not a masterpiece. It's not I mean, yes, it's a great movie. It's not an awesome movie though. It's not awesome. It's not, well, is it brilliant? Yeah, I think it's brilliant. Yeah, it's just great, good, fun, decent, fun, enjoyable to watch. It's a decent, good film to watch. It's entertaining. Sure, I mean, yes, it has a good story, but it doesn't have the best story considering it's a road trip, not a Sonic story. But this was a movie that was meant to be an origin. It was not supposed to go all out in the first movie because this movie had potential for a sequel, which is what we're getting in 2 more months. And the fact that we get 2 post-credit scenes to tease a much more video game accurate sequel, which is what we're gonna get in 2 months. 2 months. And based on the looks of the trailers to the sequel, it looks like it could be even better than this movie, considering that that's actually gonna be a Sonic film and not a road trip comedy with Sonic in it, like we got with this movie. But I'm not hating on this movie. It's a good film. But this movie does have its problems. In fact, I'm gonna get into it right now. First of all, it's a road trip comedy. It's a road trip comedy. It's one thing if you want to please the general consensus, the general audience, before going to all the crazy fan service. Oh, hold on. Hold on, guys. Hold on. It's one thing if you want to do that, but to make it out, but at least have Sonic run around a lot. At least utilize his speed. Not have him be in a freaking car like 60% of the movie. I will admit this. It's not like most of the movie, like everyone has been saying. It's more like 60% of the movie. And I appreciate that there's action. And another problem that I have with this movie is that there was not really that much action in this movie. Don't get me wrong. a decent amount of action, but it's not like what you expect when it comes to a Sonic movie. Thankfully, the sequel is gonna have a lot of action based on the plot leaks and the trailers. But still, I kind of wanted this movie to have a lot of action, considering that the trailers of this movie made me think it was gonna have a lot of action. But I'm not gonna. It's not. But not every movie has to have action in it. Heck, some of my favorite movies don't have action in it. I mean, yes, they have action, but not like action that we kind of want. But also, another thing is, um, another problem that I have with this movie is that, um, um, Sonic is kind of. I mean, I like Sonic's character in this movie, but there are times where he's a bit too annoying to the point where he just won't shut up once. There are times where people want to put tape over his mouth. Like, let's just say if you have a kid like Sonic, there are times where you just want to put tape over his mouth, put him in a closet, and walk away. Like, there are times where Sonic's really cute and adorable and charming, but there are other times where he is flat out annoying, obnoxious, and on top of that, irritating. Like, there are times where you really want to just walk away from Sonic. Like, he's really, really annoying. Like, you expect that from characters like maybe Amy or Cream or probably even Tails to a certain degree. Well, not too much of Tails, but some of it. But Sonic, the main character, this is your main character. Your main character is not supposed to be annoying. That's an issue. That's flat out an issue. That is an issue. It's not even just me. There are plenty of Sonic fans that are gonna agree with me that Sonic was a bit annoying in this movie. Not too annoying, but a bit annoying. I really hope in the sequel, a lot of Sonic fans are saying this as well. But in the Sonic movie sequel that's coming in 2 months, in the sequel, I really hope in Sonic movie 2, I really hope that Sonic does become a lot more mature. I really hope Sonic is not, but on the plot, based off the plot leaks, he's still going to be annoying. Jesus Christ. That's kind of an issue I have with this movie. It's probably more of a nitpick, considering that a lot of people actually like Sonic's character in the movie. But if you know the character of Sonic in the games or the cartoons, this is kind of inaccurate to how his character should be. Like, and yeah, and one more problem I have is it's a bit too short. I appreciate that one more problem that I have with this movie is that it's a bit too short. I appreciate that this movie is fast paced, considering it's a Sonic movie. You get it, but still, there are times where the film feels a little rushed, like the beginning with Longclaw. Probably the entire first act. There should have been scenes where we get character development before Sonic and Tom met. But the entire middle act is perfect. They took their time so much. They did it very well. And on top of that, the final act, some people say that the final act was a bit rushed. I don't think it's rushed. I think they did it perfectly well. Although I will say that the final act... although I will say that the final act was a little bit too slow. I mean, not a little slow, but there needs to be like a couple more scenes. Oh yeah, which reminds me, another problem with this movie is that this movie, I'm not gonna say it insulted Sonic, but I'm just gonna say it. There are times where this movie kind of forgot about Sonic's there are times where I feel like that this movie forgot about Sonic's speed. Have y'all noticed that he was too slow to catch Long Claw when he was a baby? He got shot by a tranquilizer dart. He was in a freaking. He could have just ran all the way to San Francisco, but he chose to get in a car. And on top of that, when he was at the car, when he was at San Francisco with Tom and Maddie, he should have ran up the building instead of taking the elevator. Have y'all noticed that? Like for a character like Sonic, that's kind of an issue. It's not even a nitpick. That's more of an issue, a problem I have. Like, this movie has a lot of plot holes. I'm not gonna lie to you. Before, I used to give it, when I first watched it, I used to give it a 9 out of 10. But over time, I started noticing some problems with this movie. Some. I started noticing some problems, which kind of lowers my score, lowered my score. Like I said in the last video, I'm gonna give you my score my new score to this movie at the end of the review. But let's just push aside the negatives. Now let's move on to the positives. The positives. Even though Sonic was a bit annoying, I did enjoy Sonic's character development. Wait, hold on. One more issue. One more issue. I promise you this is my last issue. This is my last problem. My last problem with this movie is that the Sonic and Eggman did not have enough interaction. Yeah, Sonic and Eggman did not have enough interactions with each other. I promise you that's my last issue. That's my last problem. Now on to the positives. My positive of this movie is Sonic's character development. It was a bit rushed. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was a bit rushed. But at the same time, I like how Sonic started off as a lonely person who just wanted friends, considering that his only mentor, probably the only person who ever loved him, Long Claw, is dead, and he had to grow 10 years being alone. 10 years. 10 years. That's freaking tragic. You lose a mother, and you have to go, and on top of that, you have to go 10 years alone. That's tragic. So I like that Sonic meets Tom and he becomes friends with him. But get this though, remember in the movie he had a list. He did not scratch off the part of the list. The bucket list. He wrote make a real friend. That part has not been scratched. All the other stuff was scratched off. That except for the friend list. I'm just saying, they could be saving that for Tails in the sequel. They could be saving that for when Sonic meets Tails in the sequel. But yeah, but yeah, I like Sonic's character development. I do like the fact that Sonic makes reference to other movies, Fast and Furious, Star Wars, Speed, yeah, basically that. And another thing that I really loved is the human character. Oh yeah, Sonic was my favorite. A lot of people say that Jim Carrey carried the movie, but in my opinion, Sonic carried the movie, not Jim Carrey as Eggman. I loved Eggman. We're gonna get to Eggman in a minute, but Sonic was my favorite character in the movie, and so yeah. Now on to the human characters. Tom Brachowski, I adore him as Donut Lord. So yeah, I love Tom Brachowski as Donut Lord. The other human characters like Maddie, Rachel, Age of Stone, Wade, they're alright, but they're not my favorite. They're alright. They're alright. They're alright. Maddie especially, yeah, Maddie especially. But my favorite human character was Tom Brachowski. He was my favorite character. He was my favorite human character. They're alright. I don't have that much to say, but Rachel was funny. Rachel was still funny to this day. Yeah. So the human characters, they're alright. They're not really that special. If I'm gonna be quite honest, the dog Ozzy, I love the dog. She should. I mean, not. I don't know if it's a he or she. I forgot. I don't know if it's a he or she, but I'm just saying the dog should return. Ozzy should return. Ozzy needs to return. The dog was adorable, especially when he or she. I'm just gonna say he. Especially when he licked Sonic at the house. Yeah, that was. Yeah, that was adorable. And JoJo, she was adorable. I like it when she gave Sonic his iconic classic shoes. Thank you. She's not annoying like the. Well, I'm not saying the trailers. She's not annoying as I expected her to be going into the movie. When I first watched the movie, I honestly thought she was gonna be annoying, but she was instead adorable. So yeah. So I like the human characters. My favorite human character though, you guys saw it coming. Eggman. Jim Carrey as Eggman. So yeah, Jim Carrey is my second favorite character in the film. Yeah, my favorite human character, Eggman. You grew up with the games. Both Sonic and Eggman carried the movie, and I'm gonna call him Eggman, not Jim Carrey, because there are lots of people refer to Jim Carrey as Jim Carrey and not Jim Carrey as Dr. Eggman, which I appreciate that Sonic calls Robotnik Eggman in this movie. Kind of a reference to Adventure. So, yeah. So yeah. Another thing I like. Oh yeah, I was done with Eggman. Eggman, he was intelligent. He was smart. He was menacing at some parts. He was just too goofy. Like when this movie was first announced, honestly, that we were gonna get a much more serious Sonic film with a much more menacing and dark Eggman. Honestly, thought we were gonna get that, and I kind of would have preferred that. But at the same time, for what this movie was trying to be, I feel that it's like it was a good film. So yeah. Another thing I appreciate about these. Another thing I appreciate about this movie. Oh yeah, one more thing. I appreciate that Eggman actually becomes Eggman at the post credit scenes. Yeah, because in the sequel, he is acting like Eggman so far. He is acting like him, especially when he's eating popcorn while Sonic and Knuckles fight. Yeah. So yeah, that's it. That's really all I got. And I also like the drones. I really like the drones. The Batniks. They're not really Batniks, but the movie's version of Batniks. I appreciate that they brought back the Buzz Bombers in the sequel, even though they don't look like the Buzz Bombers. They're really just drones, and you put onto the Buzz Bombers and you paint them white and silver. Like, that's kind of my issue with the Buzz Bombers in the Sonic movie sequel, is that they're not really Buzz Bombers. They're just drones with the Buzz Bombers look on it. So yeah, especially since the Death Egg robot looks more like the Death Egg robot and not the silver drone, big drone. So yeah. And on top of that, we're gonna get Mouse Sonic in the sequel as well. And that's kind of my issue. I don't want every um, Batnik that shows up in the movies to look more like a drone instead of what they actually look like in the games. So yeah. Yeah. Other than that, I like the drones. I like the abilities they can do. They really tore apart Tom's car, and yeah. Another thing that I like about this movie is surprisingly the comedy worked. There are some people in the Sonic community that said that some of the comedy in this movie was cringy, and although there were some cringy parts about this movie, such as Sonic farting, Sonic flossing, some of the jokes were kind of too childish. I'm not gonna lie, there is some of that here. I'm not gonna lie to you. But there isn't too much like some of those other hybrid live action films, such as Chipmunks, Smurfs, Garfield, all that stuff. It's actually done better here. And there are even some adult jokes, such as Sonic being prommed. Well, that wasn't Sonic that said that. That was Tom. Tom said, "I'm not in the mood to be prommed." You think I'm worried? You think you're worried? I'm not even wearing pants. I'm not even wearing pants. Yeah, there's many adult jokes in this movie. So to everyone that's saying that the jokes are too childish in this movie, shut up. Watch the movie again. Yeah, there are some childish jokes, but there is a lot of adult jokes as well. So to everyone that's saying that there's only childish jokes that are cringe, you need to watch the movie again. So yeah. Yeah, so the jokes are good for the most part. Yes, there were some cringy jokes that kind of irritated me. But it's a kids movie. It's trying to be an entertaining film. So I'm gonna just let it slide. I still would have liked that much more darker and serious Sonic movie that I kind of thought it was gonna be. I'm not gonna lie to you. Before the trailers to the film released, I honestly thought the movie was gonna be a lot more darker and serious. I'm totally being completely honest to y'all. I really want, and I kind of wanted that as well. There are people, and remember when the film was at Sony? I remember the film was gonna get a PG-13 rating. I kind of wanted that as well. I still wanted that, even with the movie being at Paramount, but instead the movie is rated PG. So yeah. So yeah. Uh, Another thing that I like is some of the references to the games. I'm not gonna go too much in this video, but I do like some of the references to the games, like Sonic eating chili dogs, Sonic like tapping his foot and looking at his wrist, like he does in the games when the drones fire the missiles at him, and he used the slow motion shots, and that's another thing I like. It's the slow motions, and sadly it's only used for two shots, two scenes, the bar fight, and the final battle before Sonic runs around the world with the teleporting rings. And that's another thing that I absolutely loved in this movie. Loved. Not even just liked it, but love it. The teleporting rings. I like how creative they were with the teleporting rings. Because there are Sonic fans out there that say that. And that's actually one of the things the movie gets praised for, is the teleporting rings. Because there are Sonic fans out there that say, "Oh no, people complain too much about Sonic gimmicks." Well, they did not complain about Sonic having lightning powers, did they? They did not complain about Sonic having teleporting rings, did they? Hmm? Exactly. But I'm not gonna. This is not a video about that. So this is the review for a good film. So yeah. Another thing that I like is the credit scenes. I like the credit scenes. The credit scenes of the movie. Um, I do like the credit scenes. The two credit scenes. They are hints for a much more video game. This is from the filmmakers themselves. The sequel is going to be a much more video game accurate film. They are teasing a much more video game accurate film. And based off the trailers to the Sonic movie sequel, the sequel, it is going to be that much more video game accurate film that we've all wanted this film to be. But unfortunately, it isn't. So, yeah. I like the first credit scene with Eggman being on the Mushroom Hill Zone. Yes, I do think it's Mushroom Hill Zone. By the way, Mushroom Hill Zone, which is why I think where I think Eggman's gonna be Knuckles in the next film. And I do like. I still remember to this day. I remember to this day when the movie was released, the second credit scene with Tails. I remember when Tails showed up, everyone was cheering, clapping, screaming. That happened in my theater too. Heck, I was one of the people that screamed. Because a lot of people were actually screaming. I did not expect that to happen. I expect there to be, oh, wow, woo, that's Tails is here. I didn't expect people cheering, shouting, and clapping. I did not expect that. I did not expect Marvel level reactions. Like, that's actually insane. That actually caught. I still remember to this day when people are and that just reminds me. Imagine if the plot leaks are true about the sequel. What happens if Shadow really is in the end credit scene to the sequel? People, this movie's gonna make. What happens if Supersonic really is in the movie and they're not showing it in the trailers? Yeah, this movie's gonna make the next movie's gonna make bank. So yeah, yeah. One more final thing. Another thing that I like before I get to the final thing and the score. Another thing that I like about this movie is the music. There are some people that complain that there wasn't enough Sonic music. There wasn't enough Sonic movie music, and although I do agree with that, and I do think there should have been more music from the games, or at least Sonic 1, since this is an origin story, or at least Sonic 1 into this movie. So yeah. Another thing that I like is the Echidna. I really like the beginning of the movie where we see Green Hill Zone, the Echidna clan, and the Echidna tribe in Longclaw. And although it was very short, which is kind of an issue. Like I said, the movie is a bit too short. I still liked it, and it does open possibilities for a sequel, especially since the Echidna clan attacked Longclaw. That just builds up the rivalry between Sonic and Knuckles. Yeah, Sonic and Knuckles. Yeah, between Sonic and Knuckles. Yeah. I like the character of Longclaw as well. I don't have that much to say about her. And one last thing that I like. The story. The writing. The writing of this film. Patrick Casey, and Josh Miller, y'all did an incredible job with this writing. And on top of that, I love how it's expressive. I love how the movie has charm, heart, especially when there's a lot of emotional scenes in this film. There's a lot of emotional scenes in this film, which actually really hit me because of how good the writing is. I honestly expected the writing of this movie to be trash. Going into the theater room, the auditorium, wherever it's called in the theater, I expected the writing to be trash. I expected it to be a dumb bun popcorn flick, or better, or even yet, I thought it was either gonna be a dumb bun popcorn flick or trash film. I thought it was gonna be one of those two. Honestly, that it was gonna be one of those two. But surprisingly, it's a good film. It's a smart film. It doesn't treat kids like they're stupid, like most of these hybrid live action hybrids do. It doesn't treat kids like they're stupid. It's actually intelligent while setting up a sequel at the same freaking time. And I also want to point out that even though this movie is for kids, a lot of adults can still enjoy it as well. So, yeah. Anyway, that's all I gotta say about this movie. I'm gonna tell you all my score right now. My final score for this film is an 8 out of 10. Before, I used to give it a 9 out of 10. When I first watched it, I used to give it a 9 out of 10 because I was just so blown away from it, how good it is. From how good it is. And on top of that, it was really, before when I first watched it, when I first watched the film, it was really the end credits that made me give it a 9 out of 10. But looking at the movie as a whole, I have to look the movie for what it is as a whole. I've looked at the movie for what it is as a whole, and it's a good film. It's great even. It's my favorite film of 2020, considering that there was not really that much movies in 2020. And on top of that, it's my favorite video game movie. So yeah. So I gave this film an 8 out of 10. I swear, I would have given this film an 8 out of 10 even when it was first released. If it wasn't for that Tails end credits scene, with that Tails scene at the end credits, I would have automatically given it an 8 out of 10 a long time ago because of the problems I have with this film. So yeah, overall it's a good film. It's a great film. It's my favorite video game film of all time. I don't think it's objectively. I need speech therapy. Guys. Objectively, the best video game film, but I do think that objectively, the sequel. Lots of people are saying it's automatically gonna be the best video game movie. The sequel is gonna be the best video game movie. It's gonna be better than that Mario movie we're getting later this year from Illumination. So yeah, that's all I gotta say right now about this movie. It's a good film. I recommend you watch it, especially since the sequel is coming out soon. I'm still hyped about this sequel. I'm actually hyped that the same filmmakers from this film is working on the sequel. So they're keeping things. I said this as well as in my big game trailer reaction. But I love how they're keeping things consistent, such as Sonic with the bag and Tails with the tracker. I love that they're keeping lots of things consistent. So at the time of this recording, it's been 2 years, because I think that I don't know if this video is gonna get uploaded on February 15th, but I'm just gonna say right now, at the time of this recording, right as I'm filming right now, it's 11 something at night. It's still February 14th. So if this video comes out on February 15th, I'm just gonna let y'all know. I'm gonna remind y'all that I recorded this on February 14th. So yeah, that's all I gotta say right now. So Let me know what you thought about this movie. I recommend it. Subscribe, subscribe. Hit that bell. Hit those notifications down below. Coming out below, and let me know. Let me know what you thought about this review. Subscribe to my other channels. Link in the description. That's all I gotta say right now. So, talk to you guys later. Peace out, Sonic Squad.